hmm this International Criminal Court? Yes. I'm going to want to use it. And then I'm going to want to know every nation of the world. Now, it might not seem that consequential to you. Yes. But when you take my sons without the actual jurisdiction of the United Nations, yeah, and then quite possibly you doctored the dissolution of marriage so as to make it look like I was a very, very bad father. Yeah. And then you decide, well, there's nothing he can do. He's a homeless man. Well, he has no rights, and we're going to obstruct his right to sue us for $2 billion after he informed us that he was going to do that. Then you're going to have false arrests, false imprisonment, right, fraudulent mental health evaluations. And then when I inform you of all this crime, you're going to sit there and you're going to say, well, as long as we continue to obstruct his rights, he will never be able to sue us. Yes. But I'm kind of thinking that since the actual jurisdiction of the dissolution of marriage is the United Nations, yeah, you're going to be tried in the International Criminal Court for war crimes. hmm And I'm wanting that conviction. Yes. See the color of your office as sheriff. Yes. Every time you get a badge. Yes. Is such that we render the officers' sureties liable for their wrongful acts. Now let's talk about the sureties of the United States of America. The United States has belonged to the United Nations since they first chartered. Yes. Let's get a copy of it. And the United States has said, well, we will support the United Nations and all their conventions. Yes. And at any time that we have knowledge of fraud, we have an obligation to do what we said we do. Yes. Now, the United States is the largest contributor to the United Nations, and I'm going to want all the money, yes, that the Treasury has spent, yes, supporting an international organization that says they're humanitarian. Ouch! But they seem to have some political leanings. Yes. Now, there's the International United Nations Convention of Corruption. Ouch! Where I'm going to want to sue for the enforcement of that right now. Then there's the International Convention of the Rights of Children. Yes, I'm going to want to sue for that right now. In fact, the truth is right now, I'm going to want, yes, the enforcement of every convention of the United Nations where the United States has spent the actual taxpayer funds supporting